Shalom. Sh-
Shalom.
Shalom, man. It's the brothers from the Hopeful Elect, man. Brother Obadiah, Brother Azrael, and Brother Isaiah. Uh, I guess you could say this THE late night edition, even on a weekday. But I'll say Salakia is really my fault because I was supposed to get on yesterday, didn't. So today we on, and it's just real extremely late. But through the Spirit, all praise to the Most High. We still have an opportunity to bring the word out. Um, and today's topic, you can see, is the strength of women versus wine versus the king. And I think everybody at some point has read this story in the book of First Esdras, right? But we're going to be covering this for the night momentarily, and we'll segue into the brother Obadiah's, live discussion topic on this upcoming Wednesday, right? But through the Spirit, we want to start off by giving all praise, glory, and honor be to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by way of his only begotten Son, who's an instrument of salvation for the nation, right? We want to give double honors to the elect, the elders, the prophets, man. We want to say shalom to all the families who will tune into this live and who will watch this live stream following the live is over with, right? We want to say shalom to the brothers and sisters out there laboring, putting in work, putting their brick in to make it into the kingdom, right? We don't come on here for, I guess you could say, for play. We come on here to kind of like edify our people to an extent, and Most High willing, you all be edified every time you tune in to the Hopeful Elect on YouTube and Hopeful Election on Instagram, But again, all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High. But without further ado, we can get right into the lesson, man. Let's get the first precept. We're going to start off in the book of First Esdras, right? Chapter 4, and we're going to cover the notorious story real quick momentarily, right? Whoever want to read can.
Come the book of First Esdras, chapter 4 and 14. O ye men, it is not the great king, nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth. Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath the lordship over them? Are they not women?
So the first question is, literally, it says, who is it that ruleth over them? Who is the them? We're talking about the men, right? Who is it that truly rules the men, right? And what is the answer? Are they not women? Almost into like a rhetorical question sense. Why do we say that? Let's get Sirach chapter 3 and verse 2.
God, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 3 and verse 2. For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons.
And hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. This is why you grow up and you see a lot of young men. They're kind of like mama's boys, right? Because the mother is the first woman who really shows us or makes us feel loved, right? Or should be the first woman to make us feel loved, right? Changes our diaper, fixes our food, shows us love, shows us how to be, or allows us to be vulnerable, right? So these are some traits and characteristics that when you carry into teenage years and adulthood that you just kind of never forget and leave, which is why a lot of brothers crash out behind women because of the first feeling they get from your mother, when you're young, when she's pampering you, when she's nurturing you, when she's raising you, when she's talking to you, teaching you things. All of these things lead into adulthood, which is why certain things happen. And this is why it's important to know that, again, when it comes to this topic of discussion, we see that women are stronger than wine and they're stronger than the king. Go ahead, Op.
God, I was going to also say too, man, just for the dynamic of parents, there could be a lot of resentment one for another, right? The man can resent the woman can resent the man, but understand things that happen naturally are ordained by God. You can't stop it. For example, it says the father is given honor over the children. A lot of times, women be like, man, you good for nothing, deadbeat, X, Y, and Z. And they get even more mad when the kids love the father. Like every time the father could be a deadbeat, but he come around and, the children, they jumping on him. They, they love him. And then the mom just like, and she talking crap behind his back sometimes, or even in a righteous relationship, the mom could think that the dad could do a little more. And, the kids always love daddy. but that's because the father have honor over the children. Now, when them children get of age, they become adults. That's a different thing. They got a mind of their own then. But when they're children, like, they're always gonna love dad regardless of what he do, right? That's why he can come home. I'm not saying do this, but he can come home drunk. He could be cheating on his mom, all that. We seen the movies, right? And the kids, they don't know none of that stuff. They just love daddy, right? On the flip side, it says he confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons. Hey, that right there is deep too, because it's not just talking about the daughters, right? For you men out there that want to take full control of your sons too early, right? Like the brother Isaiah said, the women, they nurturing us. They have the authority over the son, even the sons, right? Meaning, and also for you women that want to pawn your sons off on your husbands, you have the authority over your sons for a minute until they become men. So guess what? You the one that's supposed to establish the rule in the house. It's okay to pop their hand, man. It's okay to tell them what to do. And fellas, if your wife is telling you that your daughter can't have this or your son can't have this, listen to them. Don't overstep that boundary, because right here it's saying they have authority over the kids, man, especially even sons, right? So this precept right here, man, is deeper than just 2 lines. You feel me? But I yield.
Right. Let's go back to 1 Esdras 4, because again, all of that goes into, the reason why this discussion, this lot was even cast, right? This wisdom was even given, like the brother just brought out, because the Most High had given the mother authority over the son. Let's go to verse 15, right?
Verse 15, women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by sea and land.
Right. Women have borne the king. I think seahorses, are the only species of male that give birth. It could be more animals out here and frogs. So frogs and seahorses, right? But we're not amphibians and we're not seahorses. So women have literally given birth to all of us pretty much for the most part. You see it in different animal kingdoms, how the woman is the nurturer. She's the one that bears the children, right? She kind of is the protector of the flock, protector of the pride, protector of, the herd, right? In a sense, this is the wisdom that's being given. Is sometimes we forget and overlook how impactful and powerful women truly are and how much they mean to us as men, right? You can't sometimes, and this is a two-sided street, right? This lesson is not just, I guess you can say, it's not a derogatory lesson by any means. We're not going into the wickedness of women, right? We're talking about how strong the Most High truly made women. And a lot of times as men who do the work of the Lord, sometimes a lot of men can get overzealous and caught up in who the Lord made them to be. And yeah, we know the Lord used the men to perform the holy things and everything, right? But again, this is why this verse says women have borne the king and all the people that bear rule by sea and land. The high priests, guess what they were born by? Women, right? The prophets, guess what they were born by? Women, right? The elders, guess what they were born by? Women. The pawns, guess what they were born by? Women, right? So again, in a sense, this is not a feminist movement lesson. This is not a, anti-misogyny lesson, right? I do feel as if sometimes we got to put a little bit more respect on how truly powerful in the role that women play in everyday life, right? But let's go to verse 16.
And I think, Salaki, I do think, I think men, they're hesitant to give women their flowers because they're scared that women may take an inch and turn it into a mile.
Yep.
Right? You might tell some women, like this last precept you just went over, that they give birth to kings, right? Next thing you know, it's like we at camp, that one girl to come up to us and say that, she don't need a man, and that, she can get pregnant without a man, and that the woman is God. And, they take an inch and turn it to a mile because they understand that their importance of their role, but they want us to understand it so much to where they just go too far. And men, we don't even want them to go too far. So then we end up belittling them and don't even give them their flowers, right? It's got to be an even balance, man. And it's got to be truth. At the end of the day, it's just got to be the truth. Like, we got to give them their recognition and and all that they do. And then there's also got to be submission on their end to the king, because even though you give birth to the king, he's still a king. Right?
Right. And on top of that, you got to put it like this too. Like the brother said, that's the why. That is another reason why sometimes you got to know you got to know when to, I guess you could say, give praise and reverence and do benevolence. Because sometimes people, shalom to the brother Dinar, but sometimes people can get a little bit of, I guess you could say, a little bit overzealous. Again, I'm going to use the same word, the zeal of my father's house has consumed me. So what I mean by that is, a lot of people tend to, like the brother said, you give too much praise to the women. Now, all of a sudden you make the women your God. And that's not how it should be. There has to be just, because at the end of the day, like the brother stole my point and said, that I was going to bring out later on, is that, yeah, women give birth, but they do it with the seed of a man, and he was referencing a time where at camp, I think it was 4 weeks ago, maybe, that a sister came up and pretty much alluded to the fact that she could recreate asexually, without the use of a male sperm at all. And it was just kind of crazy. But, hey, at the end of the day,
hey, she bet the brother Dinar $2 million she could do it.
She bet the brother Dinar. So if y'all see the brother Dinar in a lamb truck, coming up in the next 2 years, just know that the sister gave him his money, from casting that lot. Right. 2000.
But
down payment on the lamb truck. Hey, but let's go to verse 16. It says, let's read verse 16.
Verse 16. Even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards, from whence the wine cometh.
Right. At the end of the day, we got to remember that it's important to kind of know that. Well, I'll say this. Read verse 17, and then we're going to say what we want to say. Read verse 17 too.
Verse 17. These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men. And without women cannot men be.
Right. So let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 31. Right. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 31. Because again, the whole point is to remind us that women played the most pivotal role in our lives. It wasn't women that needed men. It was men that needed women at the end of the day. And brothers can disagree with that understanding, but it's the truth, because at the end of the day, the woman was created to be a helpmeet for man, right? The Lord said it was good that man should not be alone. Now, again, this is not a lesson glorifying the woman to the extent of we're saying the black woman is God, but this is a lesson to serve, I guess you could say, as a reminder and to give wisdom on what truly has the most strength. It's not men, right? It's not wine, but it is women that have rule over all these things. Let's start at verse 13.
Verse 13 of Proverbs 31. It says, She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands.
Right. Now go back to first Esdras 4 and read verses 16 and 17 again. Right. You can make it big so that way you don't gotta keep bouncing. You can just click view chapter. Yeah. Click view chapter. That way you don't gotta click back and forth.
First Esdras 4, which
16 and 17.
Verse 16. Even them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards, from whence the wine cometh.
Right. So it says, even of them came they, and they nourished them up that planted the vineyards, right? Even your gardeners, right? Your farmers, all the people who work in the field, even them, right, were nourished by women, right? Read verse 17.
Verse 17. These also make garments for men. These bring glory unto men, and without women cannot men be.
Right. And it's also saying that, hey, look, and women make garments for men. Right. Even the men who are into the fashion business and they make garments were raised by women, right, who made them. So at the end of the day, this is why the wisdom in this chapter is saying that women is stronger than all these things, because, again, like it reads in verse 16, the wine that we get come from men who work in the fields that were born of women, that were nourished by women. Right. A lot of the things they could have learned from gardening probably could have came from their mothers. It's just the truth, right? And it's not, again, it's not nothing to be kind of upset or offended at as a man, because it's not demanding you when it's telling the truth that we are all born of a woman, and a woman all played a role in our lives. And if you have a wife and you're married, at the end of the day, that you really need your wife, because she makes your life easier as the Lord ordained it to be. Not saying that if you don't have a wife, you're not going to get into the kingdom. Not saying that we all need to fall on our face and worship every woman that you see walking around. But to say that, again, sometimes you forget the role that women play in everyday life. Because, again, that's who the Lord choose to use, at least in our perspective, that's who the Lord choose to use in our perspective to bring life into the world, the seed, the womb of a woman, right? Let's go to, go ahead, Obadiah.
Yeah, man. I just want to make a point, on what you were saying, man. See, when it comes to women, man, they got the power to uplift a man and bring light into a man, and they also got the power to bring a man down.
Right.
You see it, especially in our community, man. Just being so-called black people, you see a lot of times, women say certain things. And we broke. You need to get up and get some money. What you gonna do? We hungry. And then that the man be like, well, I gotta go get her son. He robbing, stealing, bringing it back to her. But you also have women, women that's okay. I'm gonna uplift this man. How you doing? Let's pray, and that can bring a man's spirit up. So women, a lot of times women read the Bible and they be like, well, I don't see a lot of women in the Bible. I see it's strictly men doing all this stuff. But they don't understand, man, the power that they have within them to uplift us. Even, just say, come in the house and just say how everything cleaned up, right? She got her she got her best dress on. That can uplift our spirit just by seeing, she got her hair did and stuff like that. That can bring peace and happiness to us, so they got the power to do those things, man. But you got it, King.
God, man. And that's important to know because, again, the women plays a crucial role. Matter of fact, hold that.
Hey, Khan, too, Salakia, like, it is like the brother Obadiah said, refreshing. And, life ain't fair, roles ain't fair, but it is refreshing to a man to know that, his wife is taking care of things. Like, I don't have to worry about toilet paper running out. That's on her mind, right? It might slip my mind, but that's something that just happens. So, like, it's a smooth transition from your mom's house to being in the house with yourself, because your mom used to do those things. I don't got to worry about, hand soap not being there. I ain't got to worry about there not being any plastic utensils if we use plastic utensils. Like, women are kind of good for that thing. Also, when it comes to teaching your kids and stuff, right? A lot of men, we don't got to worry about it because, our women, it's so important to them that our kids aren't dumb, right? That they're just on it. So it's like we could come home at the end of the day and know our kids is getting taught, right? That stuff is refreshing to a man, just knowing like, man, God bless me to be able to have a partner that's taking care of that stuff, right? And I don't got to do it. So Shout out to all the single fathers out there, but, also very much so shout out to the women out there and the wives out there that is literally, fulfilling y'all role, because like Obadiah said, it make our life easier. And I know a lot of y'all, while y'all going through it, y'all may feel resentment or y'all may feel a certain way about it. But at the end of the day, when you're old and your kids are grown, you're going to look back on your life and be like, man, I got my mom's stripes. I got my wife's stripes. And it's going to make you feel proud. But can I yield?
I got a precept, man. Go to the book of, hold on, wait. Before you go anywhere, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 16. I was trying to read verse 18, but we'll come back to the verse 18. So let's go to Sirach 26 and 16, because it goes right into what the brothers were saying. 26 and 16. Yeah, it does play a good role to have like a woman around, even like just in the little things. So, I recently brought another child into the world, man. And matter of fact, the day before my son was born, my mother-in-law came down here and she just did some little cleaning things that, as a man myself, I even told her, I was like, I didn't even think to do something like that, but that's just kind of innate. It's in women, it's their innate nature to do little things when it comes to cleaning the house, little things when it comes to checking on things. Like they're good at that. My wife is good at reminding me about stuff that, I probably had forgot about. But again, that's why we read this. Let's read this in Sirach 26.
Sirach chapter 26 and 16. And the sun, when it rises in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house.
Read that one more time.
And the sun, when it arises in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house.
Right, man. Hey, look, as the sun, when it arises, man, you know how bright the sun shines in the morning. Some people take a picture of sunrises, right? And it's a beautiful thing, just like sunsets, right? A sunset is a beautiful thing. I got a brother whose wife acts like she's 96 years old and she takes pictures of sunsets occasionally, but at the end of the day, it's because it's a beautiful thing, But what does it say? It says, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house, man. It's just like when the sun rises, man, it's refreshing. It's a beautiful sight to look at sometimes, when you can see the darkness and it just goes to light, man. You can see that sun creep over that horizon, man. It's just the same way when you see a woman ordering her house. When a woman's telling you, hey, we need more X, Y, and Z. Can you go to the store and pick up, X, Y, and Z? Because I got that wisdom when I was young in my marriage, man, from a brother. His name is Captain Judah, man. He's a brother, one of our brothers at the Anointed House of Saints. And he put on his Instagram story one time and he was like, brothers, women, in a sense, he was saying when your woman kind of walking in her role as a man, a woman kind of controls you to an extent. Not in the extent of what y'all think in a wicked manner, but in the sense like if you desire your wife to cook, right? When she's trying to cook and she needs an ingredient, guess who got to go to the store and get it? You do. And that's what he was doing that day. He was at the store shopping for something that his wife needed to make him a meal. But it was kind of a beautiful thing is what he was alluding to, and kind of a point of emphasis that, at the end of the day, yes, we have order and structure according to 1 Corinthians 11:3, but nonetheless, man, marriage is a partnership, right? And when you're helping your wife fulfill her role, it makes your life that much more easier, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach. You can stay in the same chapter. Let's go to verse number 2. Sirach 26 and 2. 26 and 2.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 2. A virtuous woman rejoices her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
Right. If you have a virtuous woman, man, you're going to fulfill your life in peace, right? Now, this isn't to get into the topic of the characteristics of a virtuous woman, but this is, again, along the lines of showing how strong really women are, right? If you have a woman that's virtuous, she is making your life peaceful, which is why wine can't compare and which is why the king can't compare, right? That's what First Esdras was comparing. Who's the strongest, women, wine, or the king? And women are undefeated in this thing, man, right? Why do we want to say that? Let's go to the book of First Esdras 4 again, right? Let's go back to First Esdras 4. Jump down to verse number 18.
Verse 18. Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver or any other goodly thing, do they not love a woman which is comely in favor and beauty?
And you got to think, a lot of the gold and silver we gather is for women. You out here working a job, you working it probably for a woman. And I'm not even going to say that. a lot of people can work jobs for yourself. So it's not like, you know, getting money is women oriented. You got to have money to live. Money is a defense, right? We need it in this economy. We need it in captivity. Heck, we needed money in exchanging when back in the day, you know, in biblical times, right? But let's just put it like this. If you have a woman that you're pursuing, or if you have a woman that, you know what I'm saying, you're thinking about, and 9 times out of 10, when you're at work, you're thinking about, man, I need to put some money up so one day I can have a house, so when I have a wife, you know what I'm saying? Or I need to put some money up so that way, you know what I'm saying, when I get this girl, she can know that I got some money, right? A lot of men's motivation is behind a woman, you know? I'm not saying every last man on the earth, and I'm not saying every single man thinks like this, but there's a lot of men on the face of the earth who have a motivation of gathering gold and silver, of getting these possessions just for the sake of when he gets a woman, you know, or trying to get the woman he wants to notice him to an extent, right? Did I have something to preset with that? Yeah, go to Sirach 36 and 22. Sirach 36 and 22.
Con. Ecclesiasticus Sirach 36 and 22. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better.
Hey, man, it ain't nothing better than a beautiful woman, man. You come home, and that's why, you know, and this is a message to the sisters too. If you ever see this, right, sisters that not our wives, because I know we talk to our wives all the time about this, but, you know, women really don't understand, like, the point that the brother Obadiah made earlier, man. It's something about when you come home and your girl got on something that looks appealing to the eye. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not a better feeling, man. It's better than payday and seeing, you know, a deposit in your account. It's better than when taxes hit. You know what I'm saying? It's better when your favorite sports team win the championship game. You know nothing better than the beauty of a woman, man. You come home and see your girl in, like, you know, a muumuu, or you see her in lingerie, you know, and I'm not telling sisters to every time your man comes home be butt naked, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that, again, it's just one of the things that cheers a man up. And this is why women is undefeated compared to wine and the king. Ain't no way in the world I'm coming home at the end of the day looking for another grown man in my house with no shirt on and just boxers. Like, that's madness. You know what I'm saying? It's the same. Hey, look, it's the same thing with wine. I'm not coming home looking to down a bottle of wine just because, oh, I just think that wine is so majestic. If you have an addiction, that's probably what you think, right? And if you're into, you know, I can't really say it on the YouTube, but if you into that other side of the lifestyle, if you practicing them rainbow colors that you don't need to be practicing, right? Then you need to kind of like change that, because again, the natural order of things is, man, you see a good looking woman and you want her, right? Which is exactly why said we can go to, well, I guess you don't gotta go there, but when you go to 2 Samuel and you go to 11th chapter, you'll see that David killed Uriah the Hittite for Bathsheba. Why? Because when she was bathing, man, he looked upon her and she was a fair damsel, right? And he was like, man, I want her. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you see a beautiful woman. You kind of get that, you know, that desire, you know, in your spirit. It's also why Christ taught that you got to kind of be careful about, you know, I guess you could say lusting after women, right? Because in a sense, you don't know if a woman is married or not. So you can see a woman at the grocery store, right? And she can not have a ring on, but she can be bad as whatever. But guess what? She's a married woman. Hey, you lusting after her in your mind, you just committed adultery, brother. And that's why you got to have a balance, right? Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, on the flip side of it too, just the beauty of a woman in general, right? Cheer the countenance of a man. Because, like, brothers, my advice to a lot of brothers, single brothers and brothers that are about to get married, is find somebody that you can adore, right? Somebody that you're going to always adore. Because if it's just somebody that you just, you know, you attracted to for the season, it's not going to like the brother Denal likes to say, it's not gonna be sustainable long term. It's not gonna, the minute you get mad at her, you know what I'm saying, you pointing out her flaws to her, or you pointing out her flaws in your head. You know what I'm saying? You need to find somebody that's gonna cheer up your countenance, that you can't even be mad at for a long time, right? Like,
I just want to go on record and say, he's talking about the word sustainability.
Yeah. I'm talking about, he likes to use the word sustainable.
I'm not going around every day talking about.
I'm talking about the word sustainable. I'm talking about the word sustainable, right?
Just saying,
right?
Get the brother jammed up,
right? I'm talking about the word sustainable, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you want to make sure that you love your girl inside and out, and that you yourself thinks that she's beautiful inside and out, not just how she looks, but like her personality, right? But also how she looks too, because when you're mad at her, you won't stay mad long, because she just cheer for your countenance, man. She to make you not want to be mad no more, right? And that's how you should look at your woman, as beautiful. If you don't think your woman beautiful, bruh, I ain't gonna lie, she might not be the one for you. Just move on. You know what I'm saying? So she's beautiful to somebody, right? So don't waste your time, for brothers, because this is one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your life, is picking a wife, right? But
not one of the biggest. It is the biggest decision, and I'm gonna tell you why it's the biggest after the brother Obadiah makes his point. Go ahead, brother.
Con, can you get Sirach 25 and 16?
No, brother. Read it off the top of your head, brother. There's no YouTube on the streets.
You go off the dome out?
Go out the dome out. Nah, I'm just messing with you.
Con, okay, I'm finna pull it up. But yeah, man, that's because I'm gonna let the brother read that.
Sirach chapter 25 and verse 16. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman.
So it said, I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. So if you're a woman, you don't want to have your man or your husband thinking like this, because it's like he not gonna want to come home to you, right? He barely gonna want to talk to you. He already, 9 times out of 10, he working for a job, right? The boss on his back. Then he got to come home to a demon. It's just like the woman off of Why Did I Get Married? The one that kept saying, Marcus. See, nobody don't want her, bro. Or the girl that was like Byron on that Madea. What are the Madea movies when the girl kept saying Byron? She just kept saying Byron. Brother,
like, if your girl say your name, brother, she don't love you for real.
Yeah.
She say your first name. She don't.
She just kept saying it. She just kept saying his name. I forgot which Madea movie that was with Bow Wow in it. She just kept saying Byron. It's like that when it comes to a woman, man. Like the scriptures the brother was reading before, you want your household to be peaceful. You want him to step in the house like, finally, I'm finally home, fresh air. You don't want him just to leave leave his job, which was probably complete hell, then to come home to more hell. Like that's madness, man.
You wonder why your husband keep taking overtime. And I know brothers, get home and brothers might, unwind in the car before we come inside, but he taking a little.
I go straight inside.
Hey, bro, stick with the program. First of all, this brother really not even working.
Brother sitting in the driveway.
brother getting paid to do nothing right now. We're not gonna bring that up though. But what I'm saying is, brothers, it might take a little while to get up out the car. You know what I'm saying? Now, 5, maybe 10 minutes is natural. Anything over that, you kind of gotta wonder like what buddy doing. You know what I'm saying?
About 2 or 3, let everything be established.
He probably trying to get away from you. You know what I'm saying?
I've been saying some brothers be scared to go in the house, man. As soon as he walk in the house, he get a remote thrown at his head. Where you been at? Who you been texting? Da-da-da-da. He might get a right hook to his face.
You know, I know some brothers, you know, sometimes they need a little edge before they, you know, get off work, go straight to the liquor store. You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, man, those are telltale signs, bro. These are real. Hey, for the I know brothers in the truth don't smoke, but you know, these things are actually real things, man. They lead to problems. But when, like the brothers were saying, women don't really know how much power you have over your man's life. Yeah, the man is supposed to be over you. Yeah, the man is supposed to be submissive to your man. But we were talking about this other day that women really don't know how much power they wield. And you know, I kind of had a conversation with my wife the other day. Not that she was doing anything wrong, but just in general, just saying like, you know, being met with softness, even if your man don't deserve softness in your response, being met with softness, man, can bring a lot of good out of your man, right? You'll see very noticeable differences on how your man treats you, even if you meet him with softness and grace, even when he don't even deserve it, because you don't know what he's been through for that day. Because a lot of men don't tell you what they've been through for that day. You know what I'm saying? But kind of.
Hey man, and that's the truth. You know, she said my husband sit in the car for 10 plus minutes at times. So what you got to tell us, brother? Man, you got to tell us, brother.
I be listening to the music, bro. I'm a music person.
Nah, it's the music, bro.
Yeah, it's the music.
Brother, get lost in the
music from making music. Nah, he be in the car getting his studio session on. That's what it is.
Man,
in the car getting his studio session on.
Hey, you know that song? You know when you pull up in the song, you just vibing out, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man.
A couple songs.
One song turned into 10.
I ain't gonna say nothing when Brother Denard said 5 to 10 minutes, anything over that, because I know sometimes I can be in that car for 30 minutes after work, boy. It just decompressing.
Telling on yourselves,
man. Hey, look, I already told. Look, my wife just commented and said mine too. I already know I'll be sitting in the car for a long time.
Y'all brothers be telling on yourself because like I'm already knowing what y'all going through, man. Y'all probably thinking, man, if I go in this house, she gonna make me change diaper. She gonna make me think.
Nah.
She gonna ask if I could. She gonna ask if I could do the dishes. She gonna ask if.
See, y'all gotta beware of brothers like Azrael, bro, because he's sitting up here sowing discord. You know, he said more like 45
I'm just saying some hypothetical.
You know, sister is lying right now. You know, and next time she want ice cream, just know that I'm not gonna give it to her because she's sitting up here capping on the internet. It don't be no hour. Sometimes it be 2. Okay, so let's get that straight. But nah, I mean, for real though. Look, at the end of the day, man, all it is saying, just like Drake said, you know, like the brother Azrael said, you got to kind of find, and like going back to the brother Denard's point, sustainability, you know, sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on. That's when you the prettiest. I hope that you don't take it wrong. You know, you got to find, like the brother Azrael was alluding to, you got to find ways to adore your wife when she's not looking like she's finna go on, you know what I'm saying, America's next top model. You know what I'm saying? Like your girl don't have to be, you shouldn't only want to compliment your wife when she's looking, you know what I'm saying, like y'all finna go to the club. And I'm not saying women are dressed. Hold on. First of all, let me preface this. I know sisters don't dress like the average women, you know what I'm saying, that we see in the world today. So when I saying go to the club, I mean by like, you know, you putting on good clothes, you know, or wearing little to no clothes. You shouldn't only compliment your wife when you seeing her half naked or, you know, she's got a full face of makeup. You know, if sisters believe in wearing makeup, I know some sisters don't, some sisters do, to each his own household, right? I'm just using examples to show that, like the brother Azrael was saying, you got to learn to love your wife when she got a little bit of spit up sitting on her shirt, you know what I'm saying, after that baby then kind of upchucked on her, you know? You got to adore moments like that. I'll tell y'all when I adore my wife the most. I adore my wife the most when she sleep. When I get up and leave for work in the morning, and I see her sleep, man, it brings me joy. You know, it makes me adore my wife because at the end of the day, man, it's a vulnerable thing to sleep in a house next to someone. And my wife entrusts me to protect her. So my job is to make sure that she's straight, you know, regardless. And that's moments where I really truly love my wife is when she sleep and she maybe got her mouth open or she got one of her eyes like halfway open like this when she sleep and you think something going on. You know, she might be, you know, and gave up the ghost, but she really didn't. She just sleep and her eye halfway open. Like stuff like that is when you need to learn how to love your wife. Because again, like the brother was saying, a lot of women, I guess you could say it like this. Like the brother Obadiah read in 25:16, you know, you'd rather dwell with the lion and a dragon than keep a house with a wicked woman, right? So if you have a righteous woman, you got to make sure that you're doing everything that you can to make her feel loved, to make her feel adored. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife. You know, if you have a virtuous wife, you'll fulfill the years of your life in peace. Thus saith the wisdom given in Sirach, right? But let's go back to 1 Esdras 4 real quick. We ain't gonna be on here too much longer. 1 Esdras 4, and let's go to verse number you can keep it wide. Let's read verse number you can start at verse 20.
First Esdras 4 and verse 20. A man leaveth his own father that brought him up, and his own country, and cleaveth unto his wife.
Right, that's Genesis chapter 2. You know, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and the two twain shall be one flesh. Right, that's going back to the beginning, right? The I guess you could say the creation, right? The implementation, right? So you got to think about, I guess you could say you got a lot to think about when you want to take a woman. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot to think about. You got to read. I would recommend everybody read 1 Esdras 4. Look at the wisdom that's just given in these scriptures, and then look at how many scriptures come off of this wisdom, right? Look at how many accounts the brothers have pulled up just to support what's going on in the book of 1 Esdras. Because at the end of the day, being a woman is a mighty role. I tell my wife this all the time. Sometimes women themselves just can't sometimes forget how pivotal their role is, man. Y'all are some, you know, it's like the backbone of a family almost, you know. It's hard for a man to live without a good woman, you know. It's hard for a man to live with a wicked woman. So it's even harder for a man that once had a woman to have no woman at all, you know. Most high forbid. But I told my wife this before, and I know it's vice versa. You know, we both wouldn't want to be in situations where we were without one another. But I told my wife before, I said, most high forbid, man, I don't know what I'd do if I lost you. You know, we got 4 children. That right there alone, you know, and my newborn son, he glued to my wife like, you know, it's her skin. Like, he can't. I told my wife this yesterday. I said, man, he fool with me, but it's like when he get around you, you know, he a little bit more chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can give him some milk and he'll relax. Me, I gotta hold him certain ways. Then I'd have to take a bottle and feed him. Most high forbid my wife wasn't around, I'd be having to use formula. That costs money, which means I'm gonna have to go out and labor more, which costs labor, you know, and time. It's so much stress that's taken off of a man when you have a woman around. And it's right for a man to do the same, right? Let's keep reading. Let's jump down to verse number let's keep reading. Just go to 21. We're gonna read through 27.
Verse 21. He sticketh not to spend his life with his wife, and remembereth neither father nor mother nor country. And in King Solomon's situation, he don't remember his God. You know, it can get bad sometimes because that's how much women have power over men. Give us amnesia.
Look, let's read the next verse because it goes right to say what you just said.
Verse 22. By this also you must know that women have dominion over you.
Right.
Do you not labor and toil and give and bring all to the woman?
Like we said, man, a brother gathers silvers and gold, and he loves doing that the same way he loves the beauty of women, right? But again, you also got to remember that in most cases, we're gathering silver and gold just for the sake of women. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12 real quick, right? Like I said, we ain't got that many more precepts, man. We're going to be through 27 and we're going to skedaddle, right? And the brother Obadiah be on here on Wednesday giving some more wisdom, right? Not on this topic per se, but whatever topic the Lord puts on his spirit to bring out, right? But let's read Isaiah 3 and 12.
Oh, slack you.
What you went to? 6? Where you get 6 from, cuz?
I don't know, my ears, man. They don't work the same as they used to.
You thinking about LeBron James being the best basketball player of all time? That's what I know. That's what that is, bro.
Nah, not even close to that, man. Not even close. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths.
Right. Women rule over us, man. And that's why, again, you see it in today's time. Brothers just hate to acknowledge it, that women really control us, you know, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing. At the end of the day, it does not have to be a bad thing. If my wife say, I need some soap so I can wash my body, I got to go to the store and get some soap so she can wash her body, regardless of what I'm doing. I could be sitting down after a long day playing 2K, feet kicked up, relaxing. It could be the Sabbath and I'm chilling. Well, of course, on the Sabbath, you're not going to buy nothing, but let's just use a different day, right? Any day that you get off work, you come home, you chilling, and you trying to decompress or relax, and your wife say, hey, I need this, I need that, you got to go get it. And that's why shout out to the brother Judah from Anointed House of Saints, because the Captain Judah, because again, he said that on this story a few years ago, and that kind of made me think, like, you know, that's right. That's true. And I was freshly married at that point, but that's a point that it still resonates and stands with me till this day, right? Oppression is negative in a sense, but a woman being, I guess you could say, ruling over you is not necessarily the same as a woman trying to usurp authority over you, right? You got to know the difference between a woman ruling over you and usurping authority over you, oppressing you, you know, manipulating you, beguiling you, deceiving you. You got to know the difference, right? Especially in the terms. But let's go back to the book of First Esdras. First Esdras 4.
Verse 23.
23.
Yea, a man taketh his sword and goeth his way to rob and to steal, to sail upon the sea and upon rivers.
Keep reading.
And looketh upon a lion and goeth in the darkness. And when he hath stolen, spoiled, and robbed, he bringeth it to his love.
Come on, man. It's the same thing we've been saying all along. You take that what you got and you come bring it to your wife, man. Keep reading.
Wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother.
Man, my daddy dead. You know, he died when I was younger. But I'll say this, even if he was alive to this day, he best believe I'm going to stand 10 toes for my wife. You know what I'm saying? If my father ever tried to come bring any confusion, which my dad wasn't like that, he wouldn't have did that. But if he was a man that tried to bring any type of confusion, I tell my wife this all the time. I say, if my mama ever disrespecting you in some way, you come talk to me, because I'm going to give her a stern talking to. Because, yeah, that's my mom, you know, and I got to honor my mother. But come on, you my wife. We one flesh. If you hurt, I hurt. If you feeling down, I'm going to be feeling down, because I'm like, why are you down? You being down may affect your performance in the house. You know what I'm saying? And when you down and your performance is affected, so is mine. Because now I'm stressed, worrying what's going on. You not telling me nothing, but it's all because of something that my mama done said to you. Now I got to address that, you know. What you was going to say?
I was going to say, you know, I wanted to also say to the women, when I say women, I'm talking to moms, and I'm talking to wives, right? No, this is true. You know, sometimes you may not feel like it, but your man loves you more than his own mother, right? So I'm saying that for the wives, and I'm saying that for the mothers. A lot of times honor gets misinterpreted. Just because a man honors his mom doesn't mean that he loves his mom more than you, right? And as a wife, you have to be in your husband's corner to make his life as easy as possible. With that being said, if you know for a fact a good relationship with his mom will make your husband's life easier, sometimes you sacrifice feelings and emotions to make that happen. Because your man does love you more than his mom once he marries you, right? And you have the power to make that man feel uneasy, feel bothered. You have the power to make your man feel like that. So one thing that a woman should always have on her mind is, how can I make my husband's life easier, right? And a lot of times that just comes with, you know, thinking about him and putting yourself in his shoes, right? And sometimes it's hard, But you got to understand that, and you have to understand that he love you. Your man love you, bro. Like, stop battling in your mind to think, does my man love me? He don't love me enough. If he loved me, he'd do this. A man's mind is simple. I'm gonna marry her because I love her and I love her. So I'm gonna do things for her, right? A man's mind is not that complex. But since you guys' mind is complex, you guys have to really hone in on separating feelings from reality, right? Because a lot of times feelings can cause you to have a different countenance, and feelings can cause you to do and say stuff that you shouldn't have, right? But
Con, man. Let's read verse 26.
Verse 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes.
Right, and let's read 27 as well.
Verse 27. Many also have perished, have erred and sinned for women.
Right. So many men have run out of their wits for women, right? And many have perished and sinned for women and erred, right? They became servants for their sakes. You got to think about how strong women really are. And this is why they're unmatched versus wine and the king. Women, they bear the children that grow up to be farmers. They bear the children that grow up to be nurses, right? They play a pivotal role in the community. As a man, right, on the sexual side of things, you want to lay with a woman, but hey, you're going to have to do what you got to do to kind of, get that woman, to want to sleep with you. Sometimes you got to play that. Let me go wash the dishes real quick. Let me go sweep the floor. Let me go take out the trash. Let me go make sure the yard cut type thing. Now, I need to go cut my yard personally, but I'm saying that, again, in most cases, you're going to start doing them random acts of service and kindness, right? Especially when you want to get intimate in the bedroom with your wife, Hey, many men have become servants for women's sake. So in a sense, you making yourself a servant unto your woman, so that way you can, relieve your stress. And you got to do that by the hands of your woman, right? Women are unmatched versus wine and the king, right? And there's no debate about that, And you go read this chapter, I advise everybody to read it because it gives you a good understanding of how to put things into perspective, right? Especially it'll make a man kind of think about how to be a better husband. I mean, even in this lesson alone, the 52 minutes we've been on here, we've had precepts where we going into understanding like how strong women are, but we've also talked about, from a husband's perspective, about how we love our women. So there's so many things that you can draw from just reading this chapter, First Esdras chapter 4. I think that every brother should really read it. Every sister should really read it. And sisters, when you read it, don't let this puff you up and think that, oh, you brothers ain't nothing without me, because that's not true, right? I can have another one of you in a minute. Ain't that what Beyonce said? To the left, something like that. But nonetheless, man, I ain't got no more precepts to bring out. The brothers got anything they want to add before we jump off this thing? Because it is running on to the midnight hour.
No, man. I think this was a beautiful lesson, man. It is like the brother said. We just got to keep it real, man. It's a balance. The scripture said, "Don't be a lion in your household." So everything we understand that the Most High gave us, leadership. We understand that there's order in this thing, but just because we the head and things like that, that don't mean that we treat our wives like doormats. You see what I'm saying? Or we don't take advice from our wives because we feel like, no, I'm the man. You don't tell me what to do, you peasant, right? You concubine. No, bro. Like we can take advice from our wives, because sometimes we may be in our ways and our judgment may be clouded, and they may see something that we don't see ahead of time. And it's like, so that's what women good for too as well, man. They good at reading people. They good at, giving advice and just seeing things that we don't. So if we just never listen and we just feel like, I'm the head and you do what I say, it's like, she could be saving you from a situation before it even happened. A situation don't even have to happen if you just would have listened and got, listen to what she said. that don't make you less of a man. They don't mean that she's over you, right? That's just her. She's just doing what she was made to do. She made to be your help me. That don't mean help me. Just don't mean clean the house and cook and take care of the kids, because that's part of it. But a help me is also, to help you in certain situations, right? To help you if you're in a hole, right? If you're in a bubble, to help you understand the situation, to help you get out of it, right? But you got it, King.
Man. Couldn't have said it better, to be honest, because at the end of the day, even I myself had to learn that aspect, and still working on that part of, sometimes giving my wife the reins, because at the end of the day, as men, we want to be leaders. Let me put it like this: righteous men want to lead in a righteous way so bad, and we want to make sure that we make our wives' life so easier sometimes that we want to take everything off of them. At least I'm speaking for myself. I try to take everything as much as I possibly can off my wife, but sometimes I realize I need her more than I do, and sometimes I reject her help because of pride in me, saying, "Nah, I'm the man, I got this." But realistically, man, nah, that Lord put that woman right there for a reason. They kind of wired differently than us, so she can, like the brother said, see things that I may not be able to see. Doesn't give her lordship over you. Just means that, hey, y'all have different traits that can help build this community, So with that, man, if no brother got anything to add, we're going to sign off this thing. We're going to say shalom. All praises, glory be to the Most High God for another, I guess you could say, opportunity to bring out the word of the Lord. We'll be back on here Wednesday, Most High willing, but Most High willing, you all were edified. Stay tuned. This your brothers from the Hopeful Elect saying peace.
Shalom.